in the second half of tonight's class, I'd like to go a little bit deeper into that idea, because it might seem that when things like this are happening, when the world is getting this crazy, that there's no other possible response but to be just completely furious or completely despondent and hopeless. Because it can just seem like the world is suffering, the world is going in the wrong direction, and there's nothing we can do about it. It just seems like everything is going wrong right now. And so when we're faced with that, when we're faced with this total despondency or uncontrollable anger, it can be helpful to kind of go deeper into some of these uh, Eastern philosophies, if you will. So in particular, some of the worldviews underlying Eastern philosophies, such as Hinduism and Buddhism, provide a sort of a backdrop or a context in which we can react mindfully to anything that's going on in the world. And one of my particularly favorite worldviews or kind of models for existence, if you will, comes from Hinduism and from certain from Vedanta. And this is the idea that the world as we know it, that the physical world, the physical universe, is one giant play or drama or movie in which God or the universal consciousness, or whatever term you want to use for the all encompassing universe. So all of the parts are played by God. So the world is one giant drama, one giant play, where all of us, all the actors, are all played by God, all played by the universal consciousness. And the reason this happens is because so God or the universal consciousness, the root, the true nature of reality is oneness, is bliss, is completeness, just pure existence and being and peace. But imagine for a moment, so imagine you are the universal consciousness and you're existing in unfettered bliss, just nothing but pure ecstasy, pure joy. So you are one with the universe, you are the universe, and all you feel is pure joy, pure ecstasy, pure bliss. So think about how that would happen as time went on. So you can imagine, say, the first eternity, you're existing in pure bliss. That's probably pretty cool, pretty great, just existing in bliss. But as time goes on, if you think about that forever, for eternity, if we exist in bliss forever, if we never know anything else besides bliss, then it ceases to feel like bliss. If we have no other experiences against which to compare it, then bliss, then joy or ecstasy just starts to feel flat, starts to feel neutral. If all there is bliss, if all there is joy, it ceases to have any meaning. It just becomes isness. Then there's just flat being. So the idea is that the universe or God creates the physical world in order to have experiences, in order to feel something besides bliss, and then therefore be able to come back to bliss. And in order for this play to work, then God or the universal consciousness really has to forget that. So in order for us to have this experience, we have to truly forget that we are the universe, that we are connected to everything. In order to feel anything other than pure joy, we have to really forget that we are joy. And that's what happens when we come into this world. That's what happens when we incarnate in this world. We forget that we are the universe, and we become convinced that we are this isolated being existing in this sack of bones and meat and water, and with a brain and with a consciousness encased in our little head. And we forget that we are everything. We forget that we are complete. We forget that we are made of love, because that's the whole point of existence. And so the whole reason for living, the whole reason for existence, is to uh, have that experience of separateness, so that we can once again feel separateness. And so if you really believe that worldview, if you can adopt that worldview, it takes a lot of pressure off the events of the world, because all the pain out there in the world, all the drama, everything that we're witnessing now is just part of the game, part of the play of existence. And we only have to keep experiencing the pain if we choose to. So when we reach the point where we're tired of the game, when we're tired of the drama, that's when we start exploring things like spirituality or meditation. When we've reached the point where we no longer want to feel isolated and suffer all the time, that's when we start feeling drawn to spirituality, drawn to exploring other worldviews, drawn to studies that reconnect us, that help us remember that we are already one, we are already connected to the universe.